151st Preakness will be run at Laurel Park, so it stays in Maryland. But remember, Pimlico is having a remodel, so they had to move it up the road a little bit. Preakness is not a continuation of the Derby, a new calculation. So this one is a little bit shorter. It's 9.5 furlongs to 10 furlongs. I'm Jim Watson. That's Pete Whitester, and the guy in the box pushing our buttons is our producer, Tom Catlin. All right, so let's get right to it. This one is completely different than the Derby, Pete. It rewards a different profile, the 2-week turnaround, which didn't used to be a thing when I was a kid. Now people are bugging out of it. Golden Tempo, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby, said right away, not going to be in it. There's only a few entries from Kentucky that's in this. It is a full field of 14. So let's go through the contenders, and you tell us what you think about each one. Let's start with the favorite. In the 9-hole, Iron Honor goes off at 9-2. Broke through in the G3 Gotham Stakes, stalking the leader in that race and then fighting down the lane. Tell us what you think of the 9-horse Iron Honor.
I don't like it. It's a good horse. It's out of Nyquist, who won the Kentucky Derby, who won the Preakness. Chad Brown is, Bob Baffert's line. If they threw grass seeds on the dirt, Chad Brown will win the Derby. He's won a zillion grade ones on grass. He's a good dirt trainer. Incidentally, this week, his big owner, Peter Brandt, multi-billionaire, they've won 30 grade ones together, pulled 3/4 of his horses from Chad Brown. Word on the backstretch, it's not unpublicized. Brown might be having some issues. I just don't see this horse winning the Preakness.
Yeah, and this horse had some trouble in the wood, right? And got slammed around in the wood a little bit and never really recovered. And we don't know what the horse is going to be like coming out of that. Questions about consistency. All right, so you're not a fan of Iron Honor, who could go off as the favorite at 9-2. How about the one
He's
horse,
Taj Mahal? Flavian Pratt for fans of Pratt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pratt's up, so that's gonna crush that right away. Because okay. So let's do Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal draws the wood, and Taj Mahal has the home track advantage. Taj Mahal boards at Laurel Park, knows the surface. A lot of these other horses have never been to this racetrack. Is there a home turf advantage in horse racing?
Never hurts. He's won, I think, 3 of 3. Brittany Russell, perennial leading trainer, and her husband rides, Sheldon Russell. My misgiving is George Soros is the owner. It's part of a big group. It's Madaket, SF Racing. SF Racing is George Soros. In case anyone wants to know, you should know. But undefeated, this horse has a big shot. I cannot say no. He ran big in the Federico Tessio, which was the prep at Laurel. He's got the rail. He's live.
So if it's a Soros horse, was it a filly that now has transitioned to a colt? Is that... I like the horse that told me Soros.
I like left-handed turn. Put it that way.
Now it's dead to me. It's dead to me, that horse. I had it at my bench.
I love that, but he's a lot of Baffert horses. And Soros is so big in the game. It's SF Racing for you folks who want to anyway. But
no, but it's like we know with our time against Fierceness and Mike Rapoli. You don't have to like the guy, but you got to like their money because it keeps the keeps the sport alive. So anybody puts money into horse racing, I guess I can handle them for 2 minutes. We could deal that.
Well, great. It's no way to handicap, but forgive me. He's live.
Taj Mahal won at Laurel last time. The horse was on that track by 8 lengths and ran a 91 buyer. I don't know if the 91 would win this race, but maybe hit the board. All right, let's move on. Incredible comes out of the 12-hole now. There's 14, so far to the outside, going off at 5-1, finished 6th in the Derby, but no finishing punch. And this race is almost as long, a little bit shorter. But what do you think of Incredible at the 12?
He's live because there's so much speed, and as we all like to call it, cheap speed in this race. A lot of speed horses that don't tend to last. I think we're watching, maybe this is Incredible when he is. This is him winning the Virginia Derby.
Yeah, Virginia Derby.
In a good, look at that. Pulls away. So, and this is also cool. Riley Mott, Bill Mott's son. Bill Mott, one of the great trainers of all time. Many Eclipse Award winners. Sovereignty from last year. His son's a really up-and-coming trainer. By the way, Peter Brandt pulling all those horses. from Chad Brown. He gave a lot of them to Riley Mott. A lot of steam. This horse will be close to favored. He didn't run badly in the Derby. Yes, he didn't get there, but he only lost by 4 lengths. Race sets up for him. He should be considered. I don't love the post. I don't love Bolt d'Oro. That's the sire. So much on dirt, so much going a mile and 3/16. It's a great sire. He's not for me on top.
Yeah, French horse, maybe in the exotics underneath, something like that. So that's there are 3 horses that are 5-1 in the morning line. We already talked about Taj Mahal. That was incredible. And the third one is Chip Honcho. Did not race in the Derby, so comes in fresh, but maybe not fast enough to make the lead on this. Going to have to rate this horse. There's a lot of front end speed in the race, Pete, and people are worried it might break down and just be a mess, just like the Derby. I think everybody's going to be smarter and there's going to be a lot more patience. So I'm not as worried about the front end speed, but I don't know if Chip Honcho can stay with the leaders.
Big disappointment in his last race. I immensely respect Steve Asmussen, Hall of Fame trainer.
Yep.
Right there, all-time winningest trainer. I don't think he's got the goods here.
Okay, let's move on to the 2 horses, Ocelli, and of course we now know this horse because the great run in Lexington. So this horse was close to winning the Derby. I went back and looked at it again this week. He was leading the race. Ocelli was leading the Kentucky Derby 5 jumps from the finish line, and then got passed and ended up third. But he was right there, definite closer, and maybe the best maiden in the country.
$600,000. He's never won a race. He cost $12,000. This is why people get into the game, right?
Yeah, love these
Mississippi.
ships. Yeah.
He's Kentucky bred, much better on grass, but this horse is outrunning his grass breeding, and the race sets up for him. I love the inside draw. He's going to let all that speed go. He's a must-use.
Yeah, and got to save ground because coming off the Derby, 2-week turnaround, so maybe gets into the light. So any ground that this horse can save, freshen up down the backstretch, stay close, and then maybe slingshot off that corner, or maybe you get lucky and the wood opens up and you got the shortest course for everybody. So that's what I'd be looking for. All right, the 10 horse, gotta love the name, Napoleon Solo, going up at 8-1. Great performance in the Champagne as a 2-year-old. Everybody's been waiting for this horse. Dangerous horse on the front end, but what about the distance?
So that's everybody's question on this horse. So we're looking at the Champagne. Look at that split.
Yeah, that was amazing.
This is as a 2-year-old.
2-year-old horse looked beautiful. That's one of those races, Pete, where you mark it and you say, "Oh, I gotta watch this horse now because this may be a super horse," but haven't seen it yet.
No, he broke poorly at Gulfstream Park. If you don't make the lead at Gulfstream, you're not going to win. And then his next race, well, he was at Aqueduct. It was a race that speed was dying. He was on lead, third off the layoff. Chad Summers has never won a big race. He's the trainer. But if this horse, they put up Paco Lopez. So every sport's got its controversial guys, jockeys. Paco Lopez is one of them. Very aggressive. Been suspended a number of times, but he's a great jockey. He moves horses up. When you put Paco Lopez up on a horse, the signal is clear. Send. They're going to go hard. He's speed from the 10. He's going to cut over. If he gets the lead in front of all these other speed horses, to me, he's another must-use.
Right on. All right, let's do the last one on the outside. And this one I like because this could really get you some good prices. Pretty Boy Miah goes off at 15-1. As I mentioned, the outside post. So this horse has really improved lately. Depends on the trip, I guess, with this horse, but I don't know. Look at way outside, stay out of traffic. Does he have to get to the lead? Does he have to run with the leaders going into the corner?
It's just, I cannot use from the 14 posts.
Too far.
It's just too far outside.
All right, I know you got a 4-horse box for us, don't you? An exacta box. Who you
numbers we haven't talked about. Look, this is one of the most wide open. I don't want to be derisive. This is for the Preakness, this is a bad field. You mentioned Golden Temple not running. All the others that ran big, Renegade, they're not running. We got, I think, maybe 3 Derby horses. But usually you get some up-and-coming shooters. It's a great betting race. So I like some long shots. Let's look at the picks. Okay, Taj Mahal, we mentioned from the rail. Ocelli, the maiden. but fires every time. Napoleon Solo, and there's a horse I love called Corona de Oro. Crown. Tommy, help me out. Jim, the Spanish crown gold crown.
Crown
yeah,
Gold.
Crown of Gold.
Crown of gold. Don Velasquez, Hall of Fame, has run some big races. His numbers put him right there. Give me John Velasquez at 30-1. There's some early wagering. He's down to about 15, 17. Box those four. I think you'll get the money.
Peter, I used to work at a restaurant down South Coast Plaza. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was right next to TGI Fridays, where Feldman and Catlin would throw up in the parking lot after we drank too much. And the restaurant was right next door, and it was called Copa de Oro. Do you remember Copa de Oro?
I remember Vera Perez.
And it was a Mexican restaurant, but it was like white linen tablecloth Mexican restaurant. So it was very expensive, which just kind of blew people's mind when they came in because, they're thinking they're going to get chips and salsa before I roll up as a waiter. It wasn't that. It was an expensive restaurant, beautiful inside. I think it lasted 5 or 6 years. It was a good time. Copa de Oro. All right, so here's what I'm doing. I'm going to go with Iron Honor, Taj Mahal, and Napoleon Solo. And because I need a fourth horse, I'll throw your 11 in there too. Corona.
Right now, 30-1 morning line.
Yeah, I know. Just for the price, even if the horse runs third, that's what happened in Kentucky. Ocelli ran third. Yeah, 2 double-digit horses run first and third, so that the exacta was huge.
Trifecta.
The trifecta was amazing that day. All right, and before we go, our producer, you saw him at the top. You're going to see him at the bottom. Tommy, when we asked you for a pick on the Kentucky Derby, there were 21 horses on the board, and the one you picked it scratched 2 days before we taped. So, what do you like?
Since you guys both agree on Napoleon Solo, so Napoleon Solo 8-1, take it to the day.
If he makes the lead, it's a bunch of speed horses that don't get other speed horses.
Yeah. Pete, is a closer going to win this race, or can somebody wire the field?
It's Ocelli, who's a maiden, and the other one is Incredibolt, who's kind of a plotter.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's gonna be a fun race to watch. All right, and now we got all of our picks at 151st Preakness, mile and 3/16, $2 million purse, and it goes off Saturday at 7:01 Eastern time. We'll be back and see how we did. We didn't do so well in the Derby. Okay, not terrible. There it is.
First and only climate.
Pete, is that your headshot? How old is that picture? From the 90s.